Welcome to all the viewers joining us for this pre-recorded show, which is recorded for Wednesday, the 21st of August. Racing takes place at the Vaal. We are recording early hours on Tuesday, so take note of the final declarations and then you'll know exactly where you stand on the day. Joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how's things looking and how do you think of the card?
How's it, Sheldon? Hello to all the viewers. I don't obviously feel that great. I'm not very pleased with myself that it's the second time in just over 2 months. But anyway, we'll soldier on. This card has a bit more of an open look than a day earlier on Tuesday at the Vaal. Some typical midwinter fare out at the Vaal. The first bit of information that I can give punters is that the rail was set out at 0 on both sides. Last time they did that, the inside draws had an advantage over the outside draws, but we'll get a good indication after race number 1 if that is going to be the play of the day. There are 2 races around the turn, races 3 and 4, so hopefully that counts against any potential track bias. But yeah, it's a trappy card, but there are 1 or 2 horses that I think we can label on the day. I think Lucky Hudolakis holds a strong key like he generally does at the Vaal.
Right, let's get into race number 1 and talking about Lucky Hudolakis. Number 11, Francillian, the daughter of What a Winter from the Lucky Hudolakis stable. Found market support first time out when running on nicely at the business end. Second to Kings Again. And the Lucky Hudolakis stable have this one spot on for the day. Is this one of the better bets on the card?
Yeah, Sheldon, my suggested bet on the card is a bar pot, and I've opened up with a banker in the form number 11, Francillian. I expect her to win. I expect her to build on her debut where she ran second to Kings Again. It might have been a weakish field, but Francillian's definitely going to improve. Stayed on very strongly, hit the line running. There was a lot to like. She just screamed a next time candidate Gavin Larena is back on board for Lucky Hudolakis. If you have a look at the front of the computer form, Lucky was far and away the most successful trainer at the Vaal over the 12-month period last season. He's based there and he is formidable there. All the Tony Peter horses are interesting. He's got 3 in the race. Calvin Habib rides first time at number 12 Palace Dancer. I don't want to overthink anything, but there might be a push on number 12 Palace Dancer, but I think that she'll have to be of sufficient quality to beat number 11 Francillian in the open of the day. I mean, Tony's got 2 other runners. Scatter Clock does jump off the page as a legitimate chance. I'm not making a case for her to beat Francillian. I don't think she will, but the fact that stable jockey is with number 12 Palace Dancer, that might be a line of thought. But all in all, 11 Francillian, as you asked, is it one of the best bets on the card? I think she is the best bet on the card. I think she'll win.
There we go as we move along to race number 2, which will be run over 1,200 meters. And Alistair, just looking at the betting, the 2 first-timers absolutely dominating. Number 11, Musical Score at 8-10, and number 13, Blizzard Snow at 2-1. It's then 14-1 and better. Musical Score, Lucky Hudolakis, Gavin Larena, the Oratorio, and number 13, Blizzard Snow. This is a daughter of Erupt from the Tony Peters stable and Calvin Abib. What's the word on the ground about these 2 first-timers?
Well, I've heard a word about number 11 Musical Score, Sheldon. I heard a word about him a few months ago, actually. And here he is making his debut. He'd been nominated a few times, and they're not pushed the button on him, but they are here at the Vaal on this Wednesday with Gavin Larena on board for the Vernus family, trained by Lucky Hudolakis. Excuse me. Lucky is obviously well known for being a good judge. Any level of support, I think, will speak volumes about number 11 Musical Score. Bred to be quick. Precocious probably doesn't really matter this time of the campaign as an early 3-year-old, but certainly got a lot of speed in the family. Estimal, famous Aventure mare. Lots of speed coming from the progeny, and I'd anticipate that with what I've heard about number 11 Musical Score, that he's expected to go very well. 13 Blizzard Snow is out of a mare who held for a very brief time the 1,000-meter record in South Africa one day at Fairview under Lyle Hewitson. Blizzard Bowl, trained by Yvette Bremner, with a hurricane blowing behind, granted, broke the 1,000-meter record. So there's a lot of speed there as well. With number 13 Blizzard Snow, I'm a tad surprised that she makes her debut over 1,200 meters, but I respect her chances just because of what's likely to be natural pace. And then number 3, Alone Time, I've got in the play as well, just in case the first timers are a bit dumb and are not ready. But Alone Time just has scope to improve from the first start. We're well beaten by Tyson the Brave, but at least gives himself a base to work with. So if the first timers do go missing and one of the racehorses is there to pick up the pieces, it could well be number 3, Alone Time. I probably overplayed this, hoping to double up in that leg of the bar pot. Place accumulator, probably well advised to go with both of the first timers and hope that they're as strong as what the market suggests.
Right, on to race number 3, and I think you're in the same camp where you've gone 4 runners here, 1, 4, 6 and 7, and just looking at the field, there's not a heck of a lot to work with here, Alistair.
No, nothing to work with Sheldon at all. Plum Blossom beaten 18.5 lengths by Taxhaven last time. I'm not too sure that that's, the type of form that you'd be going to the well with. They just the 4 horses that have enough good runs to make a case for them being horses to recommend in a very, very weak 2,000 meter race. Plum Blossom, Cabello Mazzaniani's on board. This is having a couple of winners of late. These silks were in the number 1 box at Hollywoodbets Scottsville about a week and a half ago as well. Her best runs are as good as anyone else's best runs in this race. 4 Silky Jet's a horse that I've been for before. A little once bits and twice shy with Silky Jet. She's run with some very moderate fields in the past and not really raised any trees or raised any eyebrows. But since a small break, she seems to be running okay, the daughter of Versa Getrix. If she gets the trip, she's likely to be dangerous, but you can make that statement with so many in this race sort of being untried over this distance. 6 Quello Chair, probably the one that I'd tip on top, funny enough, a daughter of Quirari. I'd draw 1 Tread Mayhew, takes 2 kilos off the back. I think that might tilt the scales in her favour as being my top selection, but certainly not worth a bet on the nose. And then number 7, Captain's Clover. I liked it her penultimate start, ran no sort of race, dismal last effort behind Key Worker, but maybe she's the one that's looking for the trip, so she's more of a speculative inclusion rather than a logical one. So 1, 4, 6 and 7 my bar pot numbers. Very, very average field.
Next up will be race number 4, and race number 4 will be run over the distance of 2,000 meters, where number 13, the Cane Train, is at 22 to 10. Number 4, Master TikTok, trading at 4 to 1. And then we have number 3, which has shortened 6 to 1 down 5 to 1. And after that, you can get 7 to 1 and better. Alistair, starting off with the Robin Clarkson train, number 13, the Cane Train. Also who's been runner-up in the last 2 efforts, and they've been building up 1,600, 1,800. What do you think about the 2,000 on this occasion?
The horse to beat, Sheldon, I wouldn't say he was stopping last time. The only reason why he's still a maiden is because of pure Stratum genius on Dual Prophecy, who took the full brother to see it again across the line, and the Cane Train was all over a winner, but for some striker magic. If he does step up the extra 400 meters to the 10 furlong, number 13, the Cane Train, should win. Gavin Loreen is on board from a deep draw. Again, this is not a pretty field. I mean, we're looking at horses that are rated in the 60s, and then there's even one rated 30 here, so I think that shows you the level of this field. So number 13, the Cane Train, clearly makes the most appeal, coming to hand, proving all the while since being gulled that he looks like a different horse, and he just looks ready to win. I've got number 14, Kelemane, as my backup, because every time the Cane Train has run second, Kelemane has not been too far behind. And I'd venture to say that 2,000 meters will be more up his alley, just breeding-wise, compared to number 13, the Cane Train. So I think even though the deficits are quite vast between the Cane Train and Kelemane, I think Kelemane has an opportunity to at least close the gap, not necessarily turn the form around. So in the bar pot, going 13 and 14, if the Cane Train doesn't stay, number 14 to pick up the pieces. But I think number 13, the Cane Train, will be the one to beat, should win, and I'd probably say about a 7 out of 10 option in race number 4 on the card in terms of having a bet on the nose, maybe even an 8 out of 10.
Well, there you go, 8 out of 10 if you're looking to have a bet on the nose. As we move on to the second half of the program, race number 5, which is over 1,000 meters. And just looking at the betting, number 3, John Wick, has shortened 28 to 10, 5 to 2. Number 6, Commander of All, is trading at 3 to 1. And then we have number 1, Munchkin, at 33 to 10. Let's start off with number 1, Munchkin Alistair from the Lucky Hoodalakis stable. I just think that he's got that type of form where he could get back into the winner's enclosure after taking on a little bit stronger.
You know, Sheldon, the way that this horse is underachieved, it must drive Lucky Hoodalakis insane. Craig Zaki's on board, the son of Rafif. I think he's had a couple of issues along the way. He's just turned 5. He's had 21 starts. And he's been on the boil for a while, so he's obviously fit, sound, and well as things go at the moment. But when he started his career, there was a lot of noise about Munchkin, and the fact that he's a 2-time winner probably annoys Lucky to no end. Whether it's a confidence issue, whether it's an equipment issue that they're just sort of battling to trigger, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I agree. I'd make him a big player. He's in my bar pot, but he's not one to trust just simply because of the fact that he's so close yet so far and just doesn't always win. When he did win, he beat Pendragon, who, for me, obviously runs in this race, but is just a better horse than the Turfentine inside track. So I think Pendragon's always there for the taking when he's away from the tight turning course at the city track. Fabian Habib holds a very strong hand here. He's got 3 runners. The fact that there has been support for number 3, John Wick, leads me to believe that I'm on the right one. We don't get much of a gauge as far as jockey arrangements are concerned, because between Simango Kamala, Cabello Matsanyani, and Gavin Larina, all 3 ride their winners for Fabian. Fabian's in good form, so it's not like we sort of dealing with JP van der Merwe riding for Greg Bortz, where we know which one JP's leaning towards. I think it's pretty much horses for courses here with regards to the jockey arrangements. But I like that last run from John Wick. That should set him up nicely for being a big player here. So I'm going to give him the votes of confidence of the 3 from the Fabian Habib yard. And then number 7, Life Goes On. I've put into my play as well. The last run to Secret Chord. I liked him. I made him a good value bet on the show, and he ran into so much traffic, and he never got a run, and he was let out with about 100 meters left to go. And in the pull-up area, mainly because of momentum, he was in front of all those horses that had blocked him. Now, he's waited to turn around with NFX, which I don't think is that earth-shattering, but he's waited to finish a lot closer to John Wick. And I think with a clear passage, number 7, Life Goes On, represents some each-way value in this 8-runner field. So whatever price he is, I'm going to load a lot of places on number 7, Life Goes On, and I'm going to hope that he gets very, very close to whoever wins. So 1, 3, and 7, the horses that I'm revolving my play around in race 5.
Looking at race number 6 and looking at the betting, the bookmakers agree that only 50% of the horses are going to possibly win, because there's 4 runners in single figures, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the rest of the field, the other 50%, are in double figures here.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair way of reading it. But then my issue with this race is that even though Mika's Bomb brings good form, I've not once believed that she can reach a mile. So I'm eliminating that possibility. Even though I'm a fan of Mika's Bomb as a filly, I just think that this is probably just stretching her a little bit too much. Number 2, Mary Reid, on the back of winning a weak maiden last time, also makes me a little bit doubtful. So I've narrowed this down to 2. Number 1, Valaria Mambo, and 4 across the pond. They're my bar pot numbers, and they would be my pick 6 numbers as well. Starting off with Valaria Mambo, drops in class, ran a novice handicap last time. We're finishing 2 3/4 lengths behind Atarime. Atarime ran in races like the Derby trial when the grass was green a few months ago. So that's the type of level that Valaria Mambo brings in. Also ran against boys last time. Now she runs against her own sex. I think that she is pretty much well set up here to run her best race in a while. And then there's number 4, Across the Pond. The progressive 3-year-old trained by St. John Gray is having a wonderful few months with Muzieni riding most of the winners. Since winning her maiden, she took a run in the fillies nursery, which might have been a little bit too strong for her, but she's shown herself to be consistent and of sufficient level. And her anti-penultimate starts on the 9th of June, although she was well beaten by VJ's Angel, VJ's Angel's gone on to win a Grade 1 against boys. So that form line makes a lot of appeal to me, and I think number 4, Across the Pond, will be bang there. Absolute 2-horse race for me, numbers 1 and 4, and you can't swing me other way.
Then on to race number 7, which is due off at 15:50. It'll be run over a trip of 1,600 meters. Number 1, Give Me a Choice, is your current 22-10 favorite. Number 5, Mocha Frappe, is at 28-10. Early money for number 8, Full Go, from 6-1 down 9-2. Obviously scratch number 9, Parker Getrix. So take out number 9, Parker Getrix, but looking at the form, won't have a severe impact on the market here. Race number 7, how do you read race number 7? Yeah, it's one of those races where the betting indicates that there's 3 or 4 runners who can come through to win. And then of course you got that horse Whirly. We're talking about the Pierce Strader Magic. His penultimate victory was simply smashing.
Yeah, I mean, Striker gets such a tune out of him. 5 of his 14 career wins have come under Striker. Whirly's turned 10. He's been retired so many times. He sits on Clinton Binder's farm near Lanseria Airport and shows his well-being, and he's put back into training, and he just doesn't lose his zest for racing. Although, I think a mile might just stretch him a little bit. I know he's 1 from 1 over the course and distance, but I just think he's a better 1,400-metre horse, but he loves the Vaal straight, so that's a little bit of food for thought. He is a winning chance, but he's not my top choice. I'm going to go with number 5, Mocha Frappe as my top choice, Sheldon. I think he's a bit of a slow developer, the son of the United States, and I think he's got better days ahead of him. So Mango Kamalo takes around 4 Alec Laird. After winning his maiden, where he beat Deception Pass. Okay, well, let's actually go back to his first 2 starts. Came back, needed the run, obviously quite badly behind Salute the Flag, but that was on the back of a 10-month layoff. Came out and beat Deception Pass, obviously won in Durban just over a week ago, so that's how long Deception Pass took to win. But runs to Mastership. Mastership came out and won the Secretariat Stakes in Turfentine during the winter. Avo and Toaster's got on a string of wins. Twak Cuts just a better horse than anyone that Mocha Frappe runs with here. And then last time behind Moolah Man, I thought that he was probably asked the question a little bit too soon and faded out of it. Maybe a sign that he didn't quite get it home over 1,700 metres. But it's good to see Samangu Kamalo running again for Alec Laird. A few years ago, they were absolutely cleaning up. Bling had a winner for him on Sunday at Hollywoodbets Scottsville with Sunset Rise. So the case I'm going to make for number 5, Mocha Frappe, although not the best bet on the card, but I think he's definitely worth a chance at the price that he is, especially with a few horses like DJ Jr. coming back from a layoff. Number 1, Give Me a Trace has got a lot of weight to carry, but he could well be up to it. He is as progressive as Mocha Frappe, I believe, but I think the fact that he's got to give 2 kilos away tilts the scales into the favour number 5, Mocha Frappe. Full Go, one probably easier in the margin, suggested last time. He just sort of, the last few strides, put the race to bed when getting the better of Flag Bearer. Life's getting a little harder now with a £4 penalty. The handicapper obviously saw it the same way as me, that he won it a bit easier than the margin suggested last time, but he's worth considering. I think it might be worth actually taking a few swingers here, 5 and 7. I think Archimedes is a lot better than his last run. And I think coming back to his 2 runs prior would put him into the picture as some sort of place chance. So I'm going to go swingers race 7, numbers 5 and 7, and probably have a look at number 5, Mocha Frappe, if he remains the same type of price that he is now.
And then race number 8 at 16.25, just having a look at the field. There's quite a few runners that have just seemed to lose the gloss of late. So looking at the St. John Gray stable with numbers 1, Free in Seattle, and number 3, Two Step Queen. St. John Gray seems to hold quite a strong hand here. But to find an outright winner, is there anything that you really like, or is it one of those races where you can take some swingers and trifectas and be safe?
Oh, it's not the type of race that you want to go into the pick 6 or the final leg of the pick 6 or final leg of jackpot 2 with just a handful of runners. You'd like to go field or as close to the field as you possibly can. I agree with you. I think St. John Gray is probably the right angle here with numbers 1, Free in Seattle, and 3, Two Step Queen. At least they both got a bit of progress to come. At least they both sort of young horses, and at least they probably not quite at their best level just yet. When you have a look at the crucial piece of form here behind Willow Wild, Free in Seattle, Two Step Queen, and Ginger Delight, numbers 1, 2, and 3 finish within half a length of one another. And Free in Seattle, well, they all meet on identical terms. So simply by the pure mathematics, Free in Seattle could well have the advantage over the stable companion number 3, Two Step Queen, and number 2, Ginger Delight. I wouldn't read too much into the jockey arrangements either, because although Muzi Yenny's been riding a ton of winners for St. John, Pierce Strader rode Free in Seattle in the last 2. He's done nothing wrong, so there's no reason to take Striker off. So I think you're right. I think St. John Gray holds a very strong key in this race. I'd go with number 1, Free in Seattle, just simply because the mathematics add up. But the list of dangers to those 3 are endless. I think number 5, Leonessa, can't be far away now. I've been for this filly so many times. I don't know what it is. I'm convinced she'll win soon. I'm convinced she'll actually win in the next month or two. But I've been bitten a few times by number 5 Leonessa, so now I'm a little bit gun shy with her. But I'd include her definitely into swingers, trifectas, and quartets. 6 count your chances, rate some sort of chance. Another one of my golden oldies, number 9 Big Hiling. Although I'm not as certain as that she'll win in the next month or two, like I am with number 5 Leonessa, I do think that she can bounce back and at least run a better race than what she's been putting together of late. So no doubt who the race revolves around, but there's a few money makers in this race, probably led by number 5 Leonessa.
Well, thanks very much, Alistair. Thanks very much for your contribution. I'll run through your suggested bet for you today. You go take it easy, put your legs up and relax, get some rest, and hopefully you'll be back on your feet before you know it. Thanks very much, Alistair.
Cheers, Sheldon. Thanks so much. We'll chat soon.
Well, there we have it. Let's bring Alistair Cohen's suggested bet up on screen, and he has gone for the bar pot with a banker 11 in the opening leg. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but hopefully the horses come to life and make things feel a lot better. So banker 11 by 3, 11 and 13, by numbers 1, 4, 6 and 7, by 13 and 14, by 1, 3 and 7, by numbers 1 and 4. So that is the bar pot from Alistair Cohen for the meeting out at the Vaal. That's a wrap for now. We'll catch you soon, and hopefully that's in the winner's enclosure.